Every damn character in this hot mess did exactly that repeatedly. What? How do you pay attention to something so tiny, like such a minute detail? Hello, my lovely reading people, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm so happy to have you here. Today we're going to be doing a video that I've been seeing a lot and I actually think is hilarious. As you can tell from the title, I'm going to be reading 1-star reviews of some of my favorite books. Am I sensitive? Yes. But will this be funny? I think so. I just think like people who write 1-star reviews really just go all out. It's crazy how you can think a book is like 5 stars and somebody else is like trash. I have the books here with me that I'm going to be looking at. I have Goodreads pulled up on my computer, and of course I have a cup of coffee, so I'm ready to go. Are you ready to go? Let's do this. Let's get our feelings hurt. So we're gonna look up our first book. The sun is aggressive. I'm so sorry, but natural lighting, you work with what you get. The first book is gonna be one of my favorites, my current favorite book ever, Book Lovers. If you have watched my other videos, you know I rave about this book all the time. First 1-star review coming in hot. LMAO, what is this? I have never struggled through a romance book as much as I did with this one. Nora, mid. Charlie, mid. Libby, mid. I'm sorry, but there's not a single thing about this book that makes up for the fact that there's no substance to it. It feels like Emily Henry considered every trope that sells and decided to bunch them all up and incorporated them into this mess of a book. Some of it was just so unappealing. I'm so disappointed. I was so into the siblings' relationship until they ironically referred to each other as sissy. Please. I'm sorry, I have to disagree. Somebody just said, I hated everything about this. If I could give it 0 stars, I would. Some of these are like really long, which is why I'm like trying to like get ones that are like a little more concise and get straight to the point of why they hate it. A lot of people DNF'd. Wow, somebody said, I must be a masochist for allowing myself to read this till the end. Awful, 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 without charm, all already seen. Another boring heroine of the present posh New York time with a very poor sense of humor. I thought she was funny. Thinks too much and is obsessed with nonsense. I don't like to write bad reviews since I truly am a book lover, but this was really inevitable. Shame on me for wasting time on this garbage. Oh my god, this one's so aggressive. Sometimes I want to break every single pencil Emily Henry owns in half. This feeling usually coincides with reading one of her books. That was so harsh. That was so harsh. Book Lovers is an affront to literature. The fact that the same language which brought A Tale of Two Cities and Emma to being is responsible for putting this into the universe is a scandal of incredible magnitude. I told myself I wasn't going to read this because I despised beach reads so much, but at some point I just wanted to see what all the fuss was about. Well, I was wrong. Being a hater would have saved me from one of the most mind-numbing reading experiences of my entire life. It just continues on. It was just so bad. Okay. I will not be afraid to say when I agree with someone's assessment, but I wasn't agreeing with people's assessments here. I thought the characters Charlie and Nora were super funny, super witty, and I don't like corny stuff, so you know I feel like I have a high standard for what funny is, so I just don't agree with that. It's still a 6-star read for me and still one of my favorite books. I don't care what anyone says. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one is Love in Other Words. I really don't know, like the sun is actually like about to make me go blind. I had to shift. The lighting is really just doing a lot right now, and I actually felt like it was burning a hole in my face, so I had to shift. So yes, that was Book Lovers. Now we're gonna move on to Love in Other Words, which I kind of feel like, who has something bad to say about Love in Other Words? It was kind of like very pure, very like, you know. So let's go ahead and dive into Love in Other Words. Let me look it up. Someone said, it took me so long to finish this and I honestly didn't enjoy it at all. What bothers me the most is that what happened to Elliot is just overlooked. So disappointing. Last book I'm reading from this author. What happened to Elliot? Okay, I guess I see what they're saying. Like, yeah, there was something that happened to Elliot, and okay, I guess, well, what about what happened to, I'm forgetting what her name even is. What is her name? Macy? What about what happened to Macy? Like, that was pretty crazy. But I understand what they're saying, I guess. I think they're alluding to something, and if that's what they're alluding to, then I understand. All right, I need this emotional support. pillow. This was supposed to be my guilty pleasure, a way out of my wheelhouse palate cleanser read. Something much softer and cheesier than I normally read. I did not have high expectations, but still this managed to completely knock me off my feet in the worst way possible. It's the building and building and building. My patience was beginning to wear thin. These two characters in their later 20s, a doctor and a writer who do nothing but talk of this thing that happened and how horrible it was. By the time I got to it, I was convinced one of them was a secret serial killer. The way they were talking so severely about it would have made things more interesting at least. Okay, all right, that was dramatic. The book was depressing, and not because of the emotional trauma the heroine, should I call her that, went through. The whole idea behind this codependent relationship and flimsy storyline had me in a blue mood for 2 days. I was so upset that I ate my feelings and watched 90 Days to Wed. First of all, and I'm talking cardinal sin level here, this book is boring. Are we all reading the same book? Somebody said, I'm never taking a recommendation from you again. This book was so unbelievably bad that I'm honestly dumbfounded at how so many people love it. I went into it excited and honestly seemed like something I would like. The beginning of the novel met these expectations and I was interested in the story until hit the fan. Then this person goes on to list their grievances, which I'm not even gonna go through. But at the end they say, I have a deep, inexplicable hatred towards this book, so honestly, I'm just glad I finished it. Harsh critics out here, man. I don't know if I could ever be a writer. We're gonna move on to our next book, which is gonna be Malibu Rising. I finished Malibu Rising. It was on my September TBR, and I finished it like in the first week of October. I have my own thoughts about it, and yeah, I don't know when I'll talk about it because like I already did my September TBR, but I do have some thoughts about it, and I do think that there are some things that people could say that I would agree with for this one. I didn't hate it. Okay, what the actual did I just subject myself to? This was excruciating. I only kept trudging through the tedium because I was fueled by rage and, you know, a whole lot of disbelief. I have one question for you. Have you ever kissed anyone on the cheekbone? Not the cheekbone, because I haven't yet. And yet, every damn character in this hot mess did exactly that repeatedly. What? How do you pay attention to something so tiny, like such a minute detail? He leaned toward her and put his lips to the spot on her cheekbone that bumped right up to her eye. It was hard like bone and smooth like velvet. The writing was, well, look for yourself. The far corner of the jacuzzi was in the far corner of the pool, which was in the far corner of the lawn. So it was in the far corner then? Sweet, gentle. So she's like pulling out, I guess, like certain quotes from the book that she hates. I mean, come on, man. It's just lazy writing, bad writing. And yet it's going to be a TV series? Is it? It's going to be a TV series? Why do I keep saying serious? It's going to be a TV series? I could see it. I think I could see it. Please, someone help me understand why. How? I didn't care about a single member of the Rivas. The second half of the book introduced random characters who behaved predictably over the top and had no place in the storyline. Totally agree with that. I think like once you get into the actual party, like there are some storylines like in some like super short chapters that are like 1 to 2 pages that introduce characters that really are not even pertinent to the story and like do nothing to progress the story, and I like could not figure out for the life of me why, but I just kind of like rolled with it and I was like, hey, this is part of the experience. I figured she really wanted you to, I don't know, get a well-rounded view of a lot of the people that were there, like feel like you were there. I'm not sure, but yeah, I agree with that. They served as filler. Yeah, actually the majority of the book was just that, filler and more effing filler. I kind of agree. Some parts were just not necessary. Honestly, I thought the whole party was unnecessary for what the point of the book was. And also, how does one recognize a familial connection by a person's bottom lip alone? I can't even talk about this anymore. Taylor gets 1 star because she had one redeeming passage in this whole pointless exercise in frustration. As she pulled onto PCH, Hungry Heart started playing through her speakers, and Ashley felt the tiniest bit of hope. Your whole world can be falling apart, she thought, but then Springsteen will start playing on the radio. You right, Taylor, but we're still breaking up. Bye, girl. That is hilarious. That was pretty funny. I'm quoting Chef Gordon Ramsay here. When a home cook disappoints him, really disappoints him. This isn't a pizza. This is a mistake. This is an Italian tragedy. Someone said that they're surprised that the person who wrote Evelyn Hugo wrote this. Breaking news, rich people suck. Let's make it short and painless because I do not care about this book and I want it out of my life. This was so boring. The combination of present timeline and background story did nothing for me. I was hoping the actual party would be better, but it was somehow even worse. I felt very detached from the characters. Nina has no backbone. Kit had no personality. Jay's personality is just surfing. Hood was nice. There were chapters about other random people that just made no sense to me. Why would I care about whether Alfonso and Vicky are going? I don't even know who they are. The only good thing was the part where they all yelled at Mick. Personally, I really enjoyed the story of June and Mick, and it infuriated me and made me so sad, but I felt like that was like more interesting than the actual at present storyline, like June and Mick's story. That's just my personal opinion. Alrighty guys, that's gonna be all for today. Thank you for reading through these 1-star reviews with me, and thank you for sticking through this ridiculous lighting. I don't know, but this is fun, and it's definitely interesting to hear how like you might agree with some 1-star reviews or disagree. I will see you guys in my next video.